Welcome to the Untold Conversations, Raw and Real, the podcast where we go beyond the perfect picture into the stories that truly matter. I'm your host, Margarita Alex, international speaker and executive coach. So today I have an amazing guest in my studio. His name is Rohit. First of all, he's a licensed travel and lifestyle creator. And secondly, in his corporate career, he's a regional sales director for the MENA region at Metropolis Technologies. Rohit, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Margarita. Thank you for having me on the show.
I am so pleased to have you, not only because you are an amazing person, but also because you are my colleague. And you are yourself a podcaster and you are a host of License to Explore with Rohit podcast.
Thank you.
And I've also been a guest to your show, and
Yes.
I cannot wait for our release. And today I would like for you to come to open about your story and also to share your story about this new journey that you started being a podcaster. So today you're both a corporate leader and a podcast host. So tell me a bit more about how do you balance these two projects, these two careers in your daily life?
That's a great question. For those who don't know me, my name is Rohit Khubchandani. I've been living in Dubai for almost now 24, 23 years. I moved here in 2002 and I worked in the internet. I worked in the sales field as a corporate leader. And of course, I've grown my career from when I started back in 2003 in this market. And today I am the regional sales director for the MENA region for Metropolis Technologies. Metropolis is a company that does AI for the real world. So what we do is we build solutions for businesses which solve real world problems. Right. And the question you asked me is about how I balance between my corporate career and my new journey. So yes, I have been creating content as a travel and lifestyle creator. I'm a licensed creator with the UAE Media Council, so I have a valid social media permit to create content officially. And I started this journey back in the days, but slowly, the journey is having a lot of shifts, a lot of changes, right? So for me, I'm not a full-time creator. I have a day job. So in the daytime, I'm wearing my normal hat of meeting customers and doing business meetings and stuff like that for my core role in Metropolis. So what I do is I work mostly on my podcast and my content creation in my spare time, which is after hours. So late in the evenings from 6 p.m. onwards till late in the night, early morning. Sometimes I wake up at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning and
Oh
I
my God.
spend the morning 2, 3 hours before I have to get into my mainstream role. Ideating, researching, doing my scripts. So you have to strike the balance. Working on the weekends, shooting in batches, doing batch production, like recording a few episodes together. And we just recorded an episode a few weeks back, you and me.
Yes.
I'm very happy to say that in my podcast, which is Licensed to Explore with Rohit, this episode will go out in the next 10 days. So it's happening very quickly now.
Yes,
And
I cannot wait.
people will be able to listen to our conversation on their favorite podcast medium. So it's going to be everywhere on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, YouTube, wherever people like to listen to their podcast.
Yes, we have to be everywhere. You are in all
Absolutely.
platforms. I'm in all platforms. So I can totally understand that the balance between, the corporate job and also a side project is hard because, some things you can definitely delegate, but some things you need to do yourself, especially when you start a project. You want to make sure it has your personality, your tone of voice, your idea, and it reflects the vision and the mission that you put into it. So for me, it does sound very serious. And as a colleague, I can tell that it's immense number of hours. I complain about waking up at 7 a.m. You are doing it 4 a.m., so I should stop complaining. And what reaction did you get when you shared with your environment and your network that you will start a podcast? Did somebody underestimated it, or did somebody tell that it was, it's just like a hobby or an easy
Yeah, well,
thing to do?
so podcasting is a very serious business and people take it very lightly from my experience. So for me, the journey is really about when I started creating content. which was around COVID time. When I had some spare time because of my day-to-day life, it was very difficult for me to create content. So I started off creating random content as a travel creator, travel logs and travel stories and things like that. Then I saw how the content industry is evolving, and the new format today is podcast. So early this year, I decided to experiment with it. I kind of was toying with my ideas. What should I do? I was looking at what podcasts are around there in the market, and I saw that there's a lot of podcasts around, entrepreneurship, business, crypto, fintech, real estate. These were the dominating topics. So I wanted to work on something very light and easygoing. That's why I chose travel as my niche for the podcast, and I started building the travel podcast. So initially, I did solo cast and fake cast back in the early days in January, February, when I started thinking about this concept. And I continued doing that for a good 3-4 months to build attraction, to build the audience. But I got all kinds of reaction, by the way. So reactions were good, bad, ugly, positive, negative, from friends, from family, from people I don't know, because some of the videos went really viral and people were like, oh, this guy's talking bullshit or this is not true. And, the people were having opinions around it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a mixed reaction, mixed feelings. And of course, people don't take this industry seriously. They think it's anybody can be a podcaster, but I can tell you it's very difficult. It's not easy. Most people don't make it beyond 3 episodes. People
Oh,
burn out
really?
at 3 episodes. Yeah. So if you have done more than 3 episodes, you're already in the top 10% of the podcasters in the entire world.
Okay,
Right.
good.
So
Then celebration and claps for us because
absolutely,
we are
definitely
definitely
ahead
more
of
than
that.
three. Yeah, more ahead
Yeah.
than that. Yeah. From my side is the same. So many people said, "Oh, it's a cool project." Some other people that I know did not tell it to my face, but I know that they've been telling it behind my back, like, "Oh, look at her. She doesn't have enough to be on stage. She doesn't have enough to be on Instagram. She wants to go and be on the camera." How much of a star she thinks she is, and this is the positive and the negative part. The most interesting part is that people don't. I agree. Don't take it seriously. They think it's like, oh, you go there, you just record for 1 hour, and then you're all over internet. And then a friend the other day, she said, "Why are you so busy? There is no way to have a coffee with you." And I said, like, let me just put point by point all the things that I did today just for my podcast. And it was like almost 40 points. And then on top of that, I have my clients and I have a partner and I have animals and I have a family and I have other duties than that. And just for the podcast, she was like, but how come there are so many things? I said, it's like in every industry, we have the operations behind are immense. And if you want to do it right, and if you want to be present, and if you want to be consistent, that's a lot of job.
That's
So
exactly right. There is many nuances people don't see behind the scenes, the operations part, right from researching the guest, talking to the guest, and having multiple alignment calls with the guests,
yes.
and then ideating, scripting, rehearsing, then pre-production, post-production. There's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes. People don't see that. People just see the fully edited episode that you're going to watch now, right now, or you're going to listen to on your podcast platforms. But the pain that goes behind the scene is really the real work that goes behind creating magic on the screen and sharing journeys and stories of individuals that we talk to.
Yeah. So that's why I always repeat to like every single person I meet that we should never underestimate anyone's project, anyone's job, because we have no idea what's behind that, and which is basically what we are trying to discuss today. So I know a very curious and particular thing about your positioning in the social media. Uh, in your nickname, you have a 007 numbers. So how did it happen, and why did you take that identity?
Thank you. It's a very interesting question. So my name is Rohit Khubchandani, and on social media, having such a big name as a handle, it's not easy to resonate with people or make you searchable or discoverable, right? So I was toying with ideas what I want to do, and initially when I started creating content, I'm sharing these travel secrets like tips and tricks and hacks, like where to go and eat, how to get a cheap deal, or snacks and other things, right? So somewhere I realized I was revealing secrets, and then the secret agent idea came to me, and I was just toying with the idea, and I thought, okay, now let me build a persona around my identity So I fused my initials, which is RK, and the James Bond persona, and created this identity of RK Bond 007. So it's like a secret agent telling you, sharing with you secrets about travel and lifestyle. And that's how this whole concept and idea came out when I was originally thinking about my social media moniker and things like that.
Well, Rohit, my friend, you and I shall not travel together because, as you know my story,
I know.
I've been stopped because I am the ideal spy. And with you being a 007 on your social media, for sure we'll get stopped on customs. So,
Definitely, we spoke at
a dream team.
during my podcast about how you are always mistaken to be a secret agent, a spy,
Yeah.
because of your looks and your your career and
yeah.
your stuff like that. And then if they do some research and they say, oh, this guy is also not seven, then we both are, it'll be double trouble.
Double trouble, exactly. So better to
Absolutely.
go through different lines. So let's go a bit back to your life journey. I know that for many years back, let's say we're talking about early 2000s,
Yeah.
back in India, you've been working in PR, in media, hosting
Yeah.
VIP clients. Back in the days where we didn't have any podcasts, we didn't have YouTube, it was more of a presence industry. And already back then, you had this creative part,
Right.
right? So you, for more than 20 years, you're in
Absolutely.
creativity. No wonder your podcast is a success today. And then I know that you came to Dubai and you wanted to pursue another creative career here, but something happened.
Right. So let me go back in the days when I was in India. I was living in Bangalore, for people to make it easier. And at that time, I was involved in the creative fields. I was doing product launches, events. I was involved even in producing and behind the scenes and edit projects of documentaries on television. So I've been on an editing table back there in the late 90s, and you can think about the technology back then. There was no internet, no social media. All this is, of course, new age, new generation stuff, right? So I did have the creative exposure and experience from back in the days while I was in India before I moved here. So I moved here in 2002, and I was pursuing. So in early days when internet struck the world and became popular, in the very early days of internet, I started building websites. This is again in the late 90s. I think it's around 98, 97 when, something like that.
I was just born a couple of
So I was
years before that.
building websites back in the days, and I was involved in projects, very, very interesting projects, also with some very big names back in India, with some celebrities as well, and producing and helping them with their web presence. So when I came to Dubai, naturally, I was looking for a role in the same industry. I was looking to get into web development. This is back in 2003. But unfortunately, that time what was happening was everybody here was outsourcing their web development work to other countries like India, like Bangladesh, like Sri Lanka, like Pakistan, and they was outsourcing this work there due to the cost of labor and the quality and the exposure and the knowledge and all that. So there were very few companies doing this kind of work here. So I was compelled to look for something else because I didn't find jobs in my domain. And so I had to switch my domain to a domain which I was not very familiar with. So in 2003, when I got my first job here, it was a job about selling technology. And back then, I was selling technology which is to do with plastic cards. So I was working with a company that sold plastic card personalization equipment and all the consumables to maybe all the companies you can think of here today, right? From Emirates Airlines to RTA to Danata. So we were selling to everybody. So I was a salesperson managing these accounts and selling this technology, auto ID equipment in the physical security space to Dubai Municipality and RTA and Emirates Airlines and customers like that. So that's where my career shifted from that guy, the creative guy and the web designer and the web developer, moving into this corporate sales domain, which happened because I moved to Dubai and I took this career shift.
Yeah, it sounds like a paradox, right? You
Yes.
move from India to Dubai to pursue a web designing career, and then they basically outsource from India. So it's a huge paradox. So yeah, it seems like life pushed you away from this creative part. And being creative all your life and working in creative industry, how did it feel back then that you had to shift to something that, first of all, you didn't know anything about, because sales is completely different industry, and something that had very little creative part in it?
So what actually happened was I felt that even in the sales role I was doing, there was a role for creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily for me, the company I work for and the people I got involved with, they never discouraged my creative side. So naturally, because of this flair of creativity that I had, I suddenly was involved in a lot of marketing activities. I was taking care of all the marketing initiatives in the company, right from doing small trade shows to exhibition to events. I naturally became the organizer, and my first year, I also won the Best Employee of the Year award. I even won an incentive trip to Singapore during the first year in this company. And before coming to Dubai, I had never been anywhere else. So it gave me the opportunity to travel as well. And I always, from the beginning of my career here in Dubai, even though I was in sales, I always kept tapping into my creative side. And I was always in a situation in the companies that I was associated with where I got the opportunity to explore my creative side. I mean, this is pre social media era because social media did not exist at this point of time.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2003
Oh
and so
God.
on and so forth. So still many years ago, but I was still exploring my creative side based on the circumstances that came in front of me.
Well, I'm very lucky of you, no?
Very fortunate.
Yeah, very fortunate. But also, I believe it's when you are the representation of your passions and your capabilities, then there is no way you can hide that. Therefore, whoever you have around, and especially your partners or the company that you work with, if they are smart enough, they will take you and they will put you in the position where you can bring your maximum capacity. And
Absolutely, I agree with you.
yeah, so lucky them, fortunate them.
Fortunately,
So,
yes.
this was back in the days, more than 20 years ago. When did you finally decided that, all right, I want to claim my creativity part back and I want to do something for my soul? And when did that start? And how did you end up doing podcasts?
Yeah. So basically, I was watching back in the days. I'm talking to you about probably many years ago again now. Like I was watching a lot of creators, especially on YouTube. So I kept consuming a lot of YouTube content, and I always got the feeling, I should also start doing something in this area. When I first created my YouTube account, which is almost 12, 13 years ago, that time I just came back from a trip in South Africa, and we went to the Kruger National Park, and I wanted to share videos with my colleagues of the trip. So that time there was no cloud sharing or any platform to share videos like we have today, like Google Drive or whatever. So we decided to create a YouTube account and share videos on that. It was not, the purpose was not to make content; it was just to share video. So that's when I learned about YouTube and created my account. And later on, many years down the road, I was consuming a lot of content from a lot of different creators, especially travel creators like Lostly Blanc. I don't know if you've seen his content, and a lot of Indian creators as well, and also movie logs. Lana Rose. I was watching a lot of this content, and I was like, hey man, this is cool, man. I should also document my journey because I was already traveling a lot. Since I moved here, till back then, I had been to 25, 30 countries already, and today more than 50 countries. So, but that time, I did not have the creator's mindset of creating content because we're just capturing, and again, the technology was primitive in terms of what kind of pictures you could take or videos you could take. It wasn't what it is today. Yeah, it was very primitive. So then what happened is, fast forward, during COVID time, I had some free time. So I started my journey with YouTube, and I created a couple of videos just to experimental videos, because I was still, very busy with my work life, and there was very less downtime to, I was traveling a lot back then, 2020, 2021. I
Oh,
started
you must
experimenting.
have been one of the few people traveling all the time back in
Yeah,
2021.
yeah. Like, COVID hit back then, so there was some free time.
Yeah.
So that helped me create some content, experiment with it, see the reaction. And then I decided to go full time into YouTube. Not full time as in give up my career, but, parallelly as a side hustle, as a passion project. So I started my journey creating a lot of content in YouTube. But, YouTube is overwhelming doing the long form content. That time it was not still the era of the short form content or the
Yeah.
vertical videos.
Long videos. Yeah.
Yeah, so I started doing long form videos, and it was a lot of work. It was taking a toll on me as well because You script, you record, you edit, you post, you publish, you promote, and then you feel disappointed when you put a video and for weeks there is no views or very few views. It happens,
I know the pain. All the
Yeah.
creators, we know, we feel.
So I started my journey from there, as initially from the YouTube platform, like I just mentioned now.
Yeah.
And then there was no looking back, because then I was attending a lot of creator events. Like I attended VidCon in Abu Dhabi, I attended the 1 billion summit here in Dubai, and met a lot of creators and learned a lot of things, improved my game. Then the trend came of the vertical content, and I moved in the vertical content, and so on and so forth. And it just kept going on from there.
Yeah. I keep repeating that a lot of times it's about the opportunity. And the platforms give us opportunity. Social media is giving us opportunity. So whenever we see that, we shall definitely grab it as strong as we can and develop, because you might be creative. Like, for example, me, for instance, right? I like the process that I'm going through now with my podcast and this project, but I think about it for maybe 5 years back, and it wouldn't have been possible. Like, people tell me, why you didn't start 5 years back? I said, technology was not there, tools were not there, and then I was not ready back then. But today I am, and I'm taking advantage of all the tools that the technology, is putting on the table. So we all have very different reasons to start our projects, and it's interesting how for you it all started sharing with the friends, and then you were just combining your travel with the videos, and then you saw the opportunity to create something a bit more meaningful and taking advantage of the technology. For me, it was, the reasons are different. I took 1 year off from social media. I concentrated on a personal life project, and my soul was craving for to be on the scene, on the platform, in front of the camera. And my 12 years of modeling did not go away. I still like to feel the presence. So I was craving for all this, and I said, okay, I need to combine this, for my ego and for my soul, and I want to do something meaningful, and I need to combine that with something that I'm good at. So I did this Japanese technique of ikigai, about your vision, mission, etc., and it came out as the project today. So interesting how people are successful in the same field
Yeah,
for very different reasons.
absolutely.
Yeah. So as a colleague, and I wanted to ask you, how do you see the balance between the creativity, the operations, and the consistency when you are producing the podcast?
So for me, I realized one thing, that today, the reason behind my success, one of the big reasons is consistency, right? You cannot ignore that completely, because a lot of people, sometimes ignore consistency, and that can create, I wouldn't say problems or challenges, but it can slow down their growth, right? So consistency is very important element from everything that you spoke about. Creativity, yes, because creativity is the way you will, bring out your project, your touch, your personal touch, your flavor to it, the way you edit, the way you package. Creativity is a key aspect. But of course, content is very important, because if there's no content, no matter how creative you are or how consistent you are, then it's not going to really work, right? So I believe it's a combination of things. There is no real balance here. And of course, operations, behind the scenes work, doing the guest research, scheduling, there's a lot of operational tasks, like, in this industry, right? So the right balance is to make sure that you address everything in the best possible way.
Yeah.
So for me, all the aspects are important. I cannot say that consistency is less important than creativity or operations. Everything has its own meaning and value, and it requires its own time and nourishing and everything that you do about it,
Yeah,
right?
I agree. And I totally agree about consistency. Lately, I've been going to so many different events and attending conferences, workshops, and people approach and they say, oh, I know you. I've seen you. And I was like, oh, yeah, really? And they say, but I cannot recall where. I said, well, I'm everywhere. And they're like, what do you mean you're everywhere? I said, I am in all platforms every day, all the time. So my purpose when I came back after my 1 year gap from social media was that I want to be present. I want to be consistent. I want to people see me everywhere. The last thing I need is the billboards in Dubai, but we're still going to be there. You
It's
will
going to
see
happen.
it's going to happen. You will see it.
So
You will
I
see
want to
it.
just add to what you said. Now, lately I saw this happening a lot to me. So, for example, I was going to renew my rental contract in the office in Ibn Battuta Mall at the desk of Nakhil, which is now Dubai Properties. And this receptionist or the girl who's giving me the token is looking at me again. I know you. I've seen you somewhere. Who are you? I just smiled because I don't like to, publicize too much who I am. And then later say, oh, you're the guy I saw you on Instagram. It then
Yes.
happened to me in Carrefour at the butcher shop. I was getting some meat. And this guy like, I've seen your video. You made this video about Australia. And he was calling out the exact video that he had seen. And then I was at a club recently in blah blah, and I was sitting there with some friends and hanging out. And suddenly a bunch of guys had charged at me, like 5, 6 guys. I was a bit scared. What the hell is happening? Yeah, you're the guy from License to Explore. We love your video. And so,
Yes.
that's kind of gives you this feeling which cannot be described. And that's because of consistent content, because of consistent posting, showing up every day, no matter you're sick or you are having any trouble. But for me, my social clips, I make sure that one social clip goes out literally every day. So my posting schedule is like 5 days a week, not 7 days a week. So one social clip going out at least 5 days a week. Sometimes it's more, but usually it's at least 5 days a week. And no matter what, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, this clip is going at different time intervals, right? So, okay, it's produced beforehand. There's some work going on. I use some AI tools. There's lots of nuances. But yes, keep on posting that content and don't think about what's going to happen after that. Just, they say
Yeah.
post it and ghost it, right?
Yeah,
Just
and
post
don't
it
look
and
and
forget
don't
about
look.
it.
Yes, I was sharing with the guys earlier today at the studio that I posted the first episode without looking at it because I just wanted
You
it.
should not look at it. Just let it.
I wanted it to go. I knew I did a good job, and halas, as they say here, right? So we need to be we need to have courage. We already have enough courage to be here recording. So then that's the least thing, and. Going back to consistency, recently I recommended a book in my social medias that is called The Atomic Habits. And one of the things that pointed out in that book is that the good habits that you have today will, doesn't matter how insignificant they seem, if you do it every day, you will see the result tomorrow. And also, if you are not doing certain things for the small that they might seem, you will also see the absence of that result tomorrow. So posting every day, if you are a social media creator, that's like a little thing that we can do. It will take us 15 to 30 minutes, depends. Okay, we need to be present on all the platforms, but it's a habit that we can create to be consistent, and that consistency gives you a social reputation, gives you recognition, and that opens doors that you do not even imagine.
Absolutely. I'm in sync with you on that.
Yeah. So at the beginning of our projects, we are always trying to do a lot of things by ourselves. Only little things we delegate because we want to set up a tone and a voice and a message. And then we have to delegate. This is something that we need to do. So how are you coping with that role of delegation?
Yeah, so initially in the beginning days, I was doing everything by myself. Like when I started my YouTube journey, you're ideating, your script, and mind you, there were no AI tools back then. There was no chat GPT or anything like that. Right. And then you're recording, you're shooting, you're editing, you're posting, you're promoting, like you put the video on YouTube, then you want to put it on some groups on Facebook, and then you want to throw it out on your Instagram and other places. So it's a lot of work, overwhelming, and with a full-time job, it becomes very challenging and difficult. So early this year, when I took this path of changing my content format and moving more towards the podcast style of content, I made a very clear decision that it's not something I can do alone. I need to build a team, and I need to outsource certain elements of this project so that I can be more successful at what I'm doing, and also because of the limited bandwidth I have. Right. So one of the things, and this is also part of the balancing act between the corporate career and the creator side, is about outsourcing some of the tasks in the day-to-day operations. Right. So at the moment, I don't edit myself, my editing is done by my team. I have a bunch of editors, which are all remote. They're in different places. I have got editors in Brazil, in India, in Pakistan, and they're handling different nuances of this project. So all the editing is outsourced, so that doesn't take my bandwidth. Of course, I do my posting, so when I'm not posting the full podcast episode, when I'm posting the normal social clips on a day to day, I need to somehow plan an hour a day to sort of post, because I'm going to go on different platforms and post and then share it on WhatsApp groups. And then, of course, writing the captions and all, which, these days you can use AI to do that.
Yeah.
So you utilize AI. So AI also helped a lot in sort of reducing the workload, improving the workflow, reducing the man hours that actually go into, all these nuances which is there. So utilization of AI and outsourcing some of the key tasks of the project. So that all helped me to balance between my corporate career also and the way I'm producing and churning out content today and showing up on a daily basis on your feeds.
Definitely on all my feeds. Yes, I'm with you in the same team. I think this is the perfect time to use AI and definitely to delegate. For a lot of people, delegation is a very tricky topic. People want to control everything. People want to supervise. They say, okay, I'm going to supervise, but basically they're controlling again. And that's time consuming. And a lot of entrepreneurs and founders are getting burned out just because they don't want to let go. But again, I believe that we should concentrate on whatever we do best, and whatever we are not as good at, then we just delegate. But yes, of course, we have to choose the right person or the right team. So for me, it's exactly the same. I delegate all the production part, all the recording part. Obviously, ChatGPT is my friend nowadays. Hear me, it's the person I most talk, right? But this is how we are moving smart. But before starting the podcast, I'm more of a perfectionist person. I want everything to be perfect. And also I think, oh my God, I'm so smart. I have a degree in business. I have a degree in psychology. I've been all around the world. I know how to do business. It should be perfect, but it's never going to be perfect. So my perfectionist syndrome was the thing that was stopping me from the launching, the podcast. Then I know how to deal with this guy inside of me. And then I just did some sneaky stuff, and then this guy had to say, oh, we already recorded, it is already on the platforms, how to do now? I said, well, now we are already in, so nothing to do. So for you, what was the hardest inner conflict that you faced before jumping in?
So if you will talk about inner conflict, yes, not being sure about a lot of things, not being sure about will the editor be able to deliver if I would have done it myself. Does he get the nuances of, editing it the way it makes sense, right? This is one of the major inner conflicts. And a lot of other inner conflicts with regards to all the tasks. The studio, you always have the fear of it's the right studio, the quality of the recording, and you work with trial and error, experiment. Then your inhibitions you will come across them in one or two goes, and then you become more confident and comfortable. So it takes time. It's a process of going through the whole thing and then being, sure about things and telling yourself, the inner self, yes, it's fine now, it's okay now, and this works now, and I can depend on it and rely on it. But nothing is 100% perfect. So there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
There's always room for unexpected situations to happen, and you have to be prepared.
Absolutely.
Just have a mindset where, you're prepared for everything. And then I think you will not have any problems.
Absolutely. Open mind and ready to be active in 0.2 seconds. And
Yes.
we know that it happens a lot in our industry, and is one of the misconceptions. Right. So was there any moment where you thought of quitting the project?
The podcast project, no, not really. For me, it's an evolving project, and I'm discovering almost on a daily basis new things and new ideas, and it's kind of changing my perspective and my vision about the project in the long term. I started with an open mind. I did not even plan how many episodes I'm going to run in season 1. Today we have 11 episodes out, 12 episodes out. And I think I would continue season 1 for the next few months at least until I launch season 2, because I have a plan to launch season 2. And in the season 2, I want to up the production value. I want to give a lot more to the audience that is watching and listening, take their feedback in, and so far nothing that really was kind of the feeling that you're talking about. I haven't faced that yet.
Good. Well, I'm very happy because I
So
enjoy.
far, so good.
Yes, so far so good, and I'm very happy to hear that because I truly enjoy watching your episodes
Thank you.
and all your shorts. So it would be a pity if we don't see you again. So please continue,
Absolutely.
continue entertaining us because your creative part is it's definitely something to look up to. I'm more of a logical organization, effectiveness, where I see you are definitely a creative guy. So a bit of a good envy there. So I also know that, and this is the first time I've heard this, that you've got your golden visa as a
Yeah,
creator.
that's
I
right.
think that's a huge achievement. And
Thank
if
you.
you could just, I have goosebumps. It's amazing. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And if you could just share a bit more of that
Sure.
experience.
Firstly, I like to thank Creators HQ, and I want people to know what Creator HQ is. Creator HQ is a body which was formed a year ago, less than a year ago, by Sheikh Mohammed himself. So it's a platform for creators. It's a hub for creators in the region. So they are the ones who have been nominated by the UAE government to nominate creators. When I say creators, it's a broad category. It's not just social media creators. It can be painters because they're also creating art. It could be photographers, videographers. So if you're a creator, you can actually get yourself nominated for a golden visa via the Creator HQ. So the first step is you have to be a member of the Creator HQ. And once you become a member of the Creator HQ, they offer the golden visa services. And you apply to them that you are a creator, you want to become, you want to get a golden visa. And then you fill the form. It takes anywhere between 8 to 12 weeks for the approvals to come if you have the right profile, the right fit. Of course, there's a questionnaire. They ask you a lot of questions and everything about all your handles, what kind of content you create, your credentials, and all of that stuff. So you give them all your details, and then they file your nomination with the government authorities. And if you're approved, you get a nomination letter that yes, you have been nominated as a creator in the creatives industry to get a golden visa. And then you follow the process, which is a very smooth process. It takes a couple of days. My nomination took me 11 weeks. After 11 weeks, I got the email from Smart Channels that I've got the nomination approval. Then once I got that, I followed the process in a matter of few days. I had the golden visa. So it's very simple as long as you qualify and follow the right process.
Wow. So you did definitely
Yeah.
qualify. Yeah, we can see that for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, no doubts about that. So going back to the industry of podcasting and the network of podcasting, we met in different events.
Yes.
We keep going. We are in the same,
Events.
yes, within the same circle. How becoming a podcaster change the way you network?
It changed a lot because, like I have had incidents lately when normally when I'm going to the networking events that you've been to, like for example, Tech Tuesdays or anything else, you're there, you're meeting people, you're approaching people sometimes on your own and you're talking to people. But what changed was now people are approaching me saying that, hey, I've seen your podcast. Hey, I would like to be a guest on your show. So that's something which I definitely saw. Even in Tech Tuesdays, there have been incidents which happened lately where people come up to me and talk to me because of the podcast. So that's something completely changed after the podcast.
Yeah, that's a good feeling, right?
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
We are getting famous, Rohit. We are. So you are in your corporate life. You are also doing something meaningful with the AI. I know that you are even working with governments like airports, casinos, to face recognition and AI recognition. That's a good legacy to, let's say, be part of this legacy that is coming into the world. But what is the legacy that you would like to leave with your podcast?
Absolutely. So everything I do has a reason behind it, right? Everything everybody does has a reason behind it. And the reason for me to be who I am today as a creator, as a podcast host, is primarily because when I moved to Dubai, I got exposed to the entire world. I started exploring, different countries. I've been to more than 50 countries and 100 places. And I felt that a lot of us who don't have that privilege or that pleasure of doing that. So I wanted to give back to the society, share my learnings, right? And at least through my voice and through my lens, people can see the world. People can see what's a ski slope in Kazakhstan or anything else. So the idea for starting the podcast and not only sharing my own story, but sharing stories of the guests that are on the show, like yourself and the other guests who have been there, is basically to give back to people and for people to take away from that, learn from it, implement it in their life. Because I'm sure, like what you have been through, is very useful for a million other people that have no means to listen to you or hear your voice. Even if they're not watching it on YouTube or Spotify, even if they're listening on Amazon or Apple, they can understand from your experiences and my experience and the exposures we've got and the stories we are telling. It may relate to them about real incidents that happen in their life or things that is going to happen in their life and how they can use this to resolve those situations, right? So that's the whole goal of creating the podcast or sharing the story. It's not about, bringing guests on the show to monetize or anything like that. It's more about giving back based on the learnings we've had. Because what are we going to do with all this, right? Tomorrow we'll go away. What about all this legacy we built? What about all these moments that we achieved from our travels? What about all the learnings which we had in Dubai? Like, where is this going to go? It's going to disappear. But this archive on YouTube and everywhere else is going to remain forever. So with the content we're creating, this legacy is what we are building for generation of societies to come across and use it and implement. This is what I believe in. This is what my idea behind this is.
Wow, that's a beautiful legacy that you want to leave behind, and it resonates a lot also with what we are doing here today.
Absolutely.
Because the way we travel shapes us, the way we go through life shapes us, and every story has a meaning, and every story is amazing, and we can learn from every single story. It doesn't matter if it's a travel story, if it's a life story. So one of the questions that I always ask to my guests is, what are you grateful for today? And let me start with myself as a good host that I am, and to give the example, taking the topic of podcasting and the topic of traveling, I am truly grateful to my parents to give me the opportunity to move into the country, which is Spain, and from there to give me the opportunity to travel around the world. Because seeing different cultures, seeing different countries, meeting people from other places of the world, trying all the beautiful and tasty food, smelling, the smells around the country, and seeing the different kinds of green in different kinds of different countries. It's something that I am definitely grateful for. It made me the person who I am today. It helped me to open my mind and to see the world as one place.
Amazing.
And I am very grateful for that. And I am also grateful to you that you invited me to your space and allowed me to share my experience. And then I am grateful to be part of the legacy that you are leaving in this world.
Thank you. Really appreciate that.
And now I give the chance to you.
All right. I like to start by saying I'm grateful to the Almighty for the breath I'm taking right now, because without that, nothing else would matter. And of course, first and foremost, my parents for bringing me to life and giving me the opportunity to be who I am today. There's a big role they play in this whole journey. Apart from that, I'm also very grateful to all my past and present employers that I work with in different fields, in different industries, because they gave me a lot of learning, a lot of exposure to meet with so many different kinds of people, to travel to so many countries. Of course, I'm grateful to the land where we are today and the land where I come from. So I'm grateful to my country, India, for making me who I am today, for deep rooting the values and building my value systems. I'm grateful to Dubai, the land of opportunities, and the leadership here, which has made us who we are today. Thanks for them to let me have the golden visa, and Dubai opened my life as a creator, as a traveler. Dubai allowed me to travel the world. So I'm grateful to Dubai and Dubai government for everything that they have actually offered me and brought into my lap. I'm grateful to you because you brought me in this studio, lovely studio, and we are able to talk about so many interesting things today, which will leave a legacy behind, and it will tell the world what these things are all about, and hopefully they can take one or two things out of this episode and our journey and our legacy that we are building together. And to everybody else watching and listening to our show, because you are the ones who matter the most. Because of you, we get the motivation to create more and more content and do more podcasts and keep showering your love so we can create more and more relevant content for you guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, next but not last question. So, your journey is inspiring, and I'm sure. You went through different emotions and different stages in your mind on, how to make the next steps, how to take the next decisions, how to take the decision to jump into a new project. So, what mindset would you say helped you to be already recognizable on the streets today?
So it's a mindset which is about believing in yourself. Okay, that's the most important thing, because a lot of people tend not to believe in themselves. A lot of people have self-doubt. A lot of people keep questioning themselves. Can I do this? Can I do that? Right? So I think the most important mindset for you is to believe in yourself, because if you believe in yourself, only then can you continue your journey. Otherwise, it's going to stop your journey. It's going to create hurdles. It's going to create barriers. Just believe in yourself and keep going for it. Keep doing it. And don't worry about the results. The results will come, okay? You should never be, I mean, of course, you should plan. You should have your mission and vision. You should know your goals and outcome, and you should know the results that you should expect. But that should not be your focus. If you're going to be very result focused, then that's where the disappointment comes. Because if you don't get the results, you will be disappointed. Right. So, go with the mindset of anything can happen and accept the unacceptable also. Just go with the flow, keep going and don't stop. This is what I believe is the mindset to keep continuing your journey, and somewhere you'll succeed. So don't run after success.
Thank you for sharing. And my last question for you today is, if your life was a book, which chapter would you be in today?
Which chapter would I be in today?
Yes.
Wow. That depends on how many.
I know. My coaching questions sometimes.
That depends on how many chapters are in there in the book. But I think I would probably somewhere be midway through the book, okay, without naming the chapter, because still I feel whatever I've achieved, I want to achieve at least the same or twice of what I've achieved so far till whenever I am alive.
Ambitious. Okay.
I think we're still scratching the surface, so there's a lot more to do.
Oh, wow. So I'm very interested into seeing your next chapters, multiple, because, we are exactly scratching the surface. I'm thankful for you to come today. I enjoyed our conversation, and I think, again, our listeners to be there for us. And thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you, Margarita, for inviting me to your show. It was a really pleasurable conversation. And I had great fun talking to you, and I hope the audience also enjoys our conversation.
Yes, absolutely. So, our dear listeners, this was the Untold Conversations, Raw and Real. My name is Margarita. I am your host. And today we also had a collaborator, one of the best stylists in Dubai, who styled my beautiful look. And thank you so much for listening. If this episode resonated with you, please follow us. Please like us, and please leave us a comment, because that will definitely make our community bigger. And see you in the next episode.